Salutations friends, welcome back to my channel. Today's video, I'm going to take you on a little journey through my entire Lancome fragrance collection. Now, I don't have that many fragrances from Lancome. I have 14, which might seem like a lot, but a lot of those are the Maison Lancome line. So as I take you through this journey, you're going to be like, why don't you have that one? Why don't you have that one? Why don't you have that one? And it's how I collect. I have a bunch of them I need to add to my collection, but over time I've just found these are the ones I've gravitated towards and decided to add to my collection. So these are the ones I have currently, but I am planning on adding a lot more to my little pile, my little hoard of fragrances. So that being said, let's get into the video. For transparency purposes, none of these were given to me to review. All of these were purchased, and Lancome is a house that I actually love. I love their fragrances. I love just the regular line and the more the higher line, the Maison Lancome line. I just really think that they're very wearable, they're very beautiful, and they're also very accessible. Even the Maison Lancome line, the higher end line, it's a really great price point for the quality and the presentation. So I definitely stand behind these fragrances and love them a lot. So I'm going to start off with my Maison Lancome fragrances. I did, I think a year ago, maybe less than a year ago, more than a year ago, I don't know, where I took you on a journey through all of them. So I can do these really quickly, and then I can go into the other fragrances that I have. So the first one we have here is Oud Bouquet, one of my favorite fragrances and one of my most complimented fragrances. This fragrance just smells really delicious. It has a beautiful, rich, syrupy, floral, just kind of rose banquet to it, and that beautiful oud in here is just fantastic. If you guys don't like oud fragrances, if you think they're too skanky, a little bit too animalic, but you want like a really robust, unctuous, woody scent, this is a great scent to wear. It's just really fantastic. Another one that I have, I don't remember if I've reviewed this or not. If I have reviews of any of these fragrances, I'll link them below for you guys. This is Tuberose Castan, I can't pronounce French, I'm very sorry. And this one is, again, tuberose, but it's nutty and it's sweet, and it's got kind of like this rose water like smell to it. Like, it's not that it does have rose water in it, it just kind of, have you ever smelled rose water, or if you've ever eaten a Middle Eastern dessert, it kind of has that sweet, syrupy, floral smell to it, like the taste that it has. This is gorgeous. And actually across the board with these scents, they all kind of remind me of like beautiful, that's my cats, Middle Eastern desserts. They're just really fantastic. Parfait des Roses right here is gorgeous. It's a crystalline, kind of like a Turkish delight rose scent. It's just beautiful, and it has a powdery sweetness to it. Not like powder, but like it smells like powdered sugar on a beautiful piece of just like rose candy. It's beautiful, it's light, it's crystalline, it's really easy to wear, and it's ultra, ultra feminine. Roses Barbarenza is one that kind of reminds me of like baklava, but it has like extreme rose water in there. Like, it's just like dripping in syrup, and that's what I love about these scents, and I'll get into it at the end of this, but this one's nutty. Like, it almost has like a pistachio vibe to it. And again, the rose in there is very much present. Then we have my favorite, Jasmine's Marzipan. This one is almond woods and jasmine. This one I reach for. If this gets discontinued, I'm gonna buy like 10 bottles of this. This is gorgeous. This smells like the beautiful balance of white florals and almond, two of my favorite notes, or two of my favorite things in fragrances, in all the right ways. It has a beautiful projection, a beautiful performance. It just smells divine on the skin, and there's just something about it that is just unique but still wearable and accessible. Next one is Lavande Trianon, and this is a beautiful kind of lavender, like candied lavender scent, but it's not ultra sweet. It's like powdery and a little bit woody, it kind of smells like. It's just, there's something about this that is just amazing, and if you like lavender scents, this is amazing. Gorgeous, gorgeous. I'm very sparing with that one. incredibly sparing with that one. And the newest addition to the Maison Lancome line, so if you watched my video before on my Maison Lancome fragrances, we got Iris Dragé, and this one is really great. This one took a while for me to really decide I wanted to buy a full bottle of it. I had a purse spray of it, I still have a purse spray of it, but this one had to really open up and bloom on my skin, and I love it. It's great. So those are, well, let me say, I love it, it's great. It's not my favorite of the line, but it is a beautiful fragrance that I'm glad to have in my collection, and I do wear it and I do love it. But it's not like on the same par as say Oud Bouquet or Jasmine's Marzipan. It's really hard to be, for any of my fragrances to be at that level. So yeah, those are my Maison Lancome. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So half of my Lancome collection is these guys. All right. I'm trying not to make this video too long, so if I'm like running through this too fast, I'm so sorry guys. So the last half of my collection are the other Lancome fragrances, and most of these are La Vie Est Belle or flankers. So we're going to get into those. Obviously, we know what this one is. This is a gorgeous scent. I find this scent to be really complimentary on the skin. It's a beautiful introductory gourmand fragrance. If you're a little intimidated by gourmand scents, I find that this really captures all the beauty and magic of gourmand fragrances without the intimidation. It's really feminine, it's very sophisticated, it's also very versatile in regards to age. Now, with all fragrances, I find them to be ageless, genderless, classless. You can wear whatever you want, whenever you want. You can really have fun and explore what fragrance means to you and how you wear it. But people do sometimes like to pair fragrances with events. Sometimes people feel like I'm too young or too old to wear these types of fragrances. If that's how you genuinely feel, that's fine. You have every right to feel however you want to feel based on, you know, your taste and how you want to present your smell to the world. And that sounds weird saying that, but yes, it's your calling card, it's your signature, it's yourself that you're presenting out there. And everyone has the right to do that however they want to do. But La Vie Est Belle, and I know I'm saying that wrong, La Vie Est Belle, is one of those fragrances that I find to be timeless and effortless and ageless. It's a fragrance that people who are very young, who enjoy smelling very youthful, or fragrances that are marketed as being very youthful fragrances, it definitely fits that category. But it also has a sophistication and a maturity that if you're looking to wear a scent, if you're older and you just like sophisticated, mature, classic fragrances, it definitely fits that bill too. It's one of the scents where you can easily wear it when you're going and getting a smoothie or you're pumping gas, and you can also wear it to a very fancy occasion. It is one of those scents that just fits the bill for anybody. It smells really sexy on women, it smells gorgeous on men. It's just one of those fragrances that's accessible to everybody and everything. And I think that's what makes it so terribly successful. Now we're gonna go into the flankers. The first one, we're gonna go for Eclat. And this one is beautiful, it's rich, it's light, it's sweet. I love the bottle, it's gorgeous. But we're gonna go into my favorite flanker, and that's going to be La Vie Est Belle and Rose. And I feel like I say La Vie Est Belle or La Vie Est Belle. I literally listen to like French translations. My mouth doesn't want to do what it should do, and that sounds weird too. I'm very sorry. But this one right here, as a rose fragrance lover, this one to me is special. It's special because it has the beauty and the majesty of the original, but that rose is so bold and it's just so delicious that it just kind of creates something really, really special. And the scent is one that I love. My mom bought this for me as a Mother's Day gift. It's very, I don't talk about this much, but I did have a miscarriage a few years ago, and it's very, like, Mother's Day is very hard for me. It's not hard for me to celebrate for my mom and my sister because, you know, I definitely love them. They're the best mothers in my life. My mother-in-law is pretty great too. But for me personally, I feel very robbed because it was like around that time that I actually had my miscarriage. Like it was a month before that. So that time for me can get very raw. So my mom not every year, but some years she will just be very sweet and she will like kind of be very generous. And she got this for me as a Mother's Day gift. And so on top of it being just a really beautiful scent, there's a sentimentality, and I don't even know if that's a word, to this fragrance. And I just love the way it smells. I love the way it kisses the skin. I love how luxurious that rose note is. And as a lover of just the entire line, it's just something that I would gravitate to anyway, but it does have that kind of added sentimentality to it. Now the newest flanker, and I'm just going to call this Intense because I think it's like intense mint, is gorgeous. I haven't reviewed this for a few reasons. I've worn it, I love it. I've just been kind of sick since I've gotten this. I've got this like a month or two ago, and it's been hard for me to really kind of wear things to review. If you notice, there hasn't been that many reviews on my channel. A lot of it has to do with just I've been very sick. It doesn't look like I'm sick. I'm really good at acting. And so for me to break down fragrances and wear them and review them, it does take weeks sometimes for me to wear them and to kind of really do them justice, to really give a really good review. I can do a first impression, no problem, but for fragrances like this, I really like to wear them for a few weeks and kind of break them down and figure out exactly what I feel about them so I can, you know, try and communicate that with you guys, even if I'm not very good at it. And that's one of the reasons why I haven't reviewed this. Plus, there's so many reviews of this fragrance out there already by people who either would sum up what I would say or do a way better job of it, so I don't know if my opinion even matters on it. But this is a gorgeous, gorgeous scent. It's richer, it's a little bit more decadent, it's thicker, and at the same time, it still has the same beauty and elegance. I find it to be a little bit spicier too sometimes, like just a little bit spicier. It's just so good. Also, as soon as I opened the bottle, my kitten ate the ribbons, so like the ribbons are supposed to look like that, and they look like that. Literally, the bottle wasn't even out of the box for like a minute, and he had already chomped down on those, and I was like, no, Susu, how could you? But he's a cute kitty, and he didn't swallow it. I got him out of his mouth, so he's fine, but what am I gonna do with that cat? So the last three are fragrances I love. Obviously, we have Idôle. This is gorgeous. Now, everyone, and I mean everyone, talks about this dang bottle, how thin it is and how groundbreaking it is and things like that. I don't care about the bottle. The bottle is gorgeous. I think the bottle is beautiful. But I think when you're reviewing a fragrance, I think presentation makes sense to talk about in regards to like the quality of the fragrance, if it's a worthy investment. I mean, if you're spending a luxury amount of money on a bottle, presentation matters. But I think that when like the only things you're saying are, look at how thin the bottle is, and that's like the biggest thing you talk about, I'm like, I don't know, like I don't think that there's wrong for other people to do it, but for me it's about the juice. But I know a lot of people talked about this juice being generic. That's one of the things that people were talking about, how it wasn't very imaginative, how it wasn't very groundbreaking or creative. And I'll be honest, I can agree with that, but I don't expect every single fragrance release to be a groundbreaking new piece of olfactive like art. I don't. There are some fragrances I want to smell good, and this is one of those scents. It's beautiful, it's crystalline, it's youthful, it's just so gorgeous on the skin, and it's so complimentary. I don't care that it smells similar to other fragrances that Lancome has. I like that it smells a little bit different and a little bit better in a lot of different cases. I don't need Lancome's regular line to be groundbreaking. I need them to create solid, beautiful scents that I just can't help but want to purchase. And this is a great version of that. Same thing with the flankers to La Vie Est Belle. Sometimes there are certain houses I look to for innovation, creativity, and new, unique compositions. Lancome isn't it. In fact, kind of like what I was mentioning before, is when it comes down to the Maison Lancome line, they all smell very cohesive. And that's what I like from a house. I like it being cohesive. It makes me a little bit more confident to maybe buy blinds to know I like the rest of these fragrances. This one's different, this one's unique, but it still fits in with the family. A great example of a fragrance house releasing a scent that wasn't so cohesive and it was very polarizing was actually Mémoire d'une Odeur from Gucci. That fragrance did not fit the bill of Gucci's previous fragrances at all. And as much as I love that fragrance, and because chamomile works on my on my skin, it definitely, I wouldn't say, was a rising success. It was marketed as a genderless fragrance, and I think that that's really cool that a fragrance house in their regular line of scents is coming out with something that's, you know, genderless and is supposed to celebrate all genders and, you know, all ages and things like that, and it's really cool. But when it came down to the fragrance, the fluid, it was different than everything else that Gucci had come out with. And so people who initially were like, oh, a new fragrance from Gucci, and then they smelled it and they were just kind of like, what is this? They were so concerned. And I even saw that when I worked, people who loved Gucci, people who would come in and buy every new fragrance from Gucci, they were so excited to come in and try the new scent, and they were horrified. And I think that that's an example of a fragrance house stepping out of bounds. And I think it's great when fragrance houses do that. Do not get me wrong, and I think more fragrance houses need to do that. But if you look at it from a marketing, trying to make more money so that they can make more fragrances, and the investment put into creating these new scents and marketing these new scents and making these new scents, you want it to be successful. So kind of being cohesive with the rest of your line that is considered to be classic and very successful makes sense. I don't expect Lancome to take many risks when it comes down to creating new groundbreaking compositions. I don't, and I'm not let down by that either. I think as long as they create beautiful scents that smell a little bit different than each other, or maybe a lot different than each other, but at the same time cohesively fit with each other, I'll be happy, and that's why I love Idôle. Not everyone's going to agree with that, and that's okay. Going into the last two fragrances I have is Trésor Midnight Rose. This is a beautiful, underappreciated rose fragrance. I find it to be a fantastic evening scent. You can wear it again whenever you want, but if you're looking for a fragrance that's very syrupy, that's very mysterious, that has a depth to it without it being too complex, I find Midnight Rose to be absolutely fantastic. It is extremely sexy and probably one of the sexiest fragrances in this lineup. And last and certainly not least is Hypnose. This is the Eau de Parfum. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous scent. And I don't think a lot of people talk about this fragrance, but a lot of people don't really show this fragrance the love and attention it deserves. This entire lineup is great. I need to get more, but this is the one that I have, and I do really love it a whole bunch. Now, like I said in the beginning, you're gonna see a lot missing, and the reason being is because I might have had samples of them. I had a lot of samples of a lot of different Lancome fragrances, and if I wanted to wear them, I would wear through my samples. And because a lot of these fragrances are so easy to find, specifically the regular lineup of Lancomes, not so much the Maison Lancome lineup, I just find myself not needing to bite the bullet just yet. There's other fragrances that I want to purchase to review. Maybe something's being discontinued, maybe there's a deal I can't pass up, so I just haven't gotten around to purchasing other fragrances from Lancome, but I do really love them. I will kind of go on and talk a little bit more about where I think each of these lines go. I think the regular lineup for Lancome with the Vie Est Belle and the Hypnose and now Idôle, I think that that's a lineup that's definitely celebrating femininity in a way that is ageless and genderless. Femininity isn't just regulated to women, it can be men too. There's a lot of men out there that I think really just celebrate the feminine side of themselves, and I'm not talking about in a way that is you know, if you're trans or, you know, who you decide to love. I think that there is an androgyny to people, and I think that there's your masculine side and your feminine side. And I find that the Lancome line celebrates the feminine side of people, even if you're a heterosexual man, heterosexual woman, or whoever you choose to love regardless. And I love the fact that it's a very strong, ageless femininity that Lancome celebrates with their general line. With their Maison Lancome line, I love that they're being very bold, but also very safe with their compositions. Like I said, with the Oud, whenever they have these notes, they're celebrating one specific thing, and they're doing it in a way that I find to be really powerful. I love that a lot of these scents smell like Middle Eastern desserts. And I'm not saying that it was, and I'm using that term because that's the easiest thing for me to say right now real quickly. If you've ever had the opportunity to try some of these delicious treats you know that there's a complexity, there's an artistry, there's a depth, there's a layering of flavors and textures. And just, you know, sometimes it's a little bit bitter, sometimes it's overtly sweet, sometimes it's crunchy, sometimes it's soft. And that beautiful kind of like artisanal, like almost genius level of layering of textures and flavors comes together to create something that has just, you eat it and you're just like, your mind explodes. It's just insane how perfectly everything comes together. When if you think about it, it might not work, but when you taste it, you're like, yes, this is perfect. And I find that that's what I see with the Maison Lancome line, is you definitely see this kind of artistry coming together with a variety of different noses, or like chefs, so to speak, coming together to create a cohesive line, even though there are different points of view, different notes, different feelings with each fragrance. They come together to create this like cohesive, well-blended balance of sometimes conflicting. Sometimes you wouldn't think to put those things together, but they come together and they're beautiful. And the fact that even though rose isn't the most predominant note in a lot of these scents, or isn't even present in a lot of these fragrances, you can kind of feel what rose is to scents in regards to kind of like a luxurious, silky feeling. You can feel that in even like the white florals, or even the fragrances that are primarily oud and don't even really have much of any floral notes in there. You can feel that cohesion, that point of view across every single fragrance. And I think that that is absolutely fantastic. And that's what I look for sometimes. Not all the time, sometimes. And I really appreciate it in this lineup. So Lancome is a house that is extremely popular. Lancome is a house that's been around for a very long time. And Lancome is a house that a lot of people really celebrate, but also sleep on as well. So I wanted to share my fragrances with you, talk a little bit about why I love them so much, and kind of also ask you guys, what fragrances from this lineup do you think I'm missing? Because I know I've been sleeping on a lot of fragrances from Lancome. I'd love to know what you guys think. Also, if you disagree with any of my opinions or thoughts on fragrance in general, or just these scents, I'd love to know what you guys think too. I love having like conversations in regarding fragrances. And I think that there's a lot of really great conversations and debates that can happen around this house. In any case, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I'll end it here. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Bye.